Recall that an adverb is a type of word or phrase that changes or adds more information to verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Typically, adverbs modify verbs and provide details on how the action was performed, when it happened, where it took place, or how often it occurred. For instance, she spoke very softly. Here the adverb softly modifies the verb spoke, indicating how she spoke. The adverb very provides emphasis and intensity to the degree of softness, indicating that she spoke with a high level of quietness. Now, adverbs of frequency are words that indicate the frequency or regularity of an action or event, conveying information about how often something happens or is done. They can be used to describe habitual or recurring activities. For example, Ali rarely eats fast food. So, in the above sentence, the adverb rarely indicates that Ali doesn't eat fast food very often, and it tells us that eating fast food is not a regular or routine activity for him. Another example is, we often go to the park on weekends. Here the adverb often indicates that going to the park on weekends is a common or routine activity for the speaker and their companions. It tells us that they engage in this activity with some frequency. Keep in mind that adverbs of frequency are typically placed before the main verb in a sentence, but after any auxiliary verbs that may be present. Auxiliary verbs are helping verbs that accompany the main verb to form a verb phrase, such as do my homework or is usually placed. Let's see this sentence: Sarah always drinks coffee in the morning. Here, the adverb always is positioned before the main verb drinks, but after the auxiliary verb does not in the negative form. Sarah does not always drink coffee in the morning. Also, in this sentence, Jack always wakes up early to exercise. The adverb always comes before the main verb wakes to indicate how often the Jack exercises early in the morning. This placement of the adverb emphasizes the regularity of Jack's exercise routine. And in this sentence, Anna usually takes the bus to work in the morning. The adverb usually comes before the main verb takes to indicate Anna's typical mode of transportation in the morning. The auxiliary verb does is implied in the negative form of the sentence, as in Anna does not usually take the car to work. The placement of the adverb before the main verb emphasizes the regularity of the Anna's commuting behavior. Also, remember that there is an exception to the usual placement of adverbs of frequency in a sentence. When the main verb in a sentence is to be, the adverb is typically placed after the main verb instead of before it. Like, Elizabeth is always late for our meetings. The party was always loud and crowded. Moreover, when the frequency is 100%, the adverb of frequency we use would be always. For example, my mother always tells us stories before bedtime. Also, when the frequency is 90%, the adverb of frequency we use would be usually. Like, we usually have beef biryani for lunch on Fridays. Also, when the frequency is 80%, the adverb of frequency we use would be generally. Such as Adam generally works out at the spa in the Gloamings. Also, when the frequency is 70%, the adverb of frequency we use would be often. Such as, they often go hiking on weekends. Also, when the frequency is 50%, the adverb of frequency we use is sometimes. Like, Yusuf sometimes forget his phone at home when he go out. Also, when the frequency is 30%, the adverb of frequency we use would be occasionally. For Hannah occasionally takes a day off from work just to relax. Also, when the frequency is 10%, the adverb of frequency we use would be seldom. Such as, we seldom go to the beach during the summer. And when the frequency is 5%, the adverb of frequency we use would be hardly. Such as, Asa hardly ever watches TV on weekdays. And when the frequency is 0%, the adverb of frequency we use would be never. Like, they never leave the house without locking the front door. Besides that, we can also employ specific phrases to indicate a more exact frequency, such as each day, monthly once, biannual, thrice a day, alternate weeks, on a daily basis, per month, yearly, and so forth. For example, I always brush the teeth twice a day with Medicum. I usually visit my old school teachers once a month to spend quality time. Furthermore, in constructing a sentence with multiple adverbs of time, it is recommended to follow this order. Firstly, indicate the duration or length of time. Secondly, specify the frequency. Thirdly, denote the specific time or period. Let's take an example. I visit my brother for a week once every 6 months, usually during the summer or winter break. So, in the above example, first come 1 week, how long, second, once every 6 months, how often, and third, during summer or winter break, when.